hold on. I want to get the girls involved here.
It's conservative thing is more hierarchical.
Ladies, give me a green or a red here. Give me a green if you would prefer your man to be the leader. Give me a red if you want it to be more equal. Give me. I want to be totally. Okay, so more equal. So splitting the bills half and half, splitting the chores half and half, splitting financial responsibilities altogether half and half, etc. That's what I mean when I say egalitarian equal. Okay.
And that's red, right?
That's yes. If you want to be yes.
More green now.
Okay.
More green
so,
now.
And again, I know this is like a small sample size, etc. But whatever. But you look, ladies, you can look around here. And I've asked this question to almost every group of girls that comes on. It's overwhelming the amount of women that prefer the man to be the leader.
So yeah, there's probably a selection bias going in the people that are here. But what I was saying is, yeah, of course it makes sense. If a woman has more resources and a woman is able to take care of herself, she's going to be more likely to leave a shitty situation.
Or
for
never
sure.
get into a marriage in the first place.
Well, even an equal situation.
Or an equal situation.
And you know, they're not like women when they fare off worse financially after divorce and all of that. So if a woman loves a man, she's going to stay with him. She's not going to leave him just because she got a raise. If she's leaving you because she's making more money than you, she never fucking liked you. That's what I think.
Well, here's the thing: women's emotions fluctuate, and her doing better than her man can absolutely affect her emotions, because women tend to look at men from a more prospective standpoint, either where they're at or where they're going to be. And if she's with the guy and she out earns him and he's not doing something to, take back that leadership role from a financial provider standpoint, she's going to feel some type of way a lot of the time.
There are stats that show that the number one precipitator of divorce between couples who have been married already, where they're either making equal or the man's making more and the woman gets a raise in pay of some sort, so she gets a promotion or something. That is the number one precipitator for divorce.
Exactly.
The other part is that also women find men who do not make as much money as they do as economically undesirable. There's plenty of stats for this. And women, from the polls that they've done up to now, anyways, they expect that man to make 68% more than she already makes. Mm-hmm. Now, put this into perspective. 56%. Well, then you've got more women going to university. You've got more women on OnlyFans. You've got more women making more money right now, and yet the expectation still stays the same.
I mean,
and it also stays the same, I should say, also in the most gender egalitarian countries on planet Earth.
Right.
Almost half of U.S. households right now have women making as much, the same, or more than the husband. And I agree with you, because women don't want, one of the things that happens in divorce is women are far more likely to have their standard of living go down. They're more likely to seek government assistance.
In the long term, yes. In the short term, no.
Okay,
I said, and I really wanted to make sure I clarify this, because everyone says, oh yeah, women's standard of living, and they take a financial hit and they do worse off after divorce. And the funny thing is they still choose to leave. But the thing is, and this, I'm going to quote James Sexton here, is in the short term, that is, women do way better. In the long term, they don't. Because when the man is already coming back and already paying child support and already paying alimony after that, then you're seeing the transfer of resources from that man to that woman afterwards. Is that here's the real crux of this is that the incentive for the divorce in the first place? And that's where we can debate that.
So
but the problem is you still have to get past one really big hurdle. Men are 8 times more likely to kill themselves after a
100% agree.
divorce.
So I saw you guys.
That's the ultimate, down. That's a big downside for divorce, right there.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you guys. And actually, I saw. I love Richard Reeves. I think Richard Reeves Of Boys and Men is a great book. I think everyone should read it. Like, I like a lot of the stuff he talks about there, but I just feel like, yes, a woman who is resources, who's able to take care of herself, is going to not be as likely to stay in a shitty situation. I think that's really clear. But also that women want these men that are better than them in all these ways. This is changing as society's changing. And
I would argue that it is not, because the machine hasn't changed in 200,000 years.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe that, you're talking about cultural changes, but our evolution isn't going to change. Like, when women, when they're surveyed about when they make more money, they want men who make even more money than them.
And this is the argument made about hypergamy going down.
As the scale keeps going up, it's not like, well, I make $1 million a year, so I need a boyfriend who only makes $50,000. It actually goes up even higher.
Escalation.
Well, it's not even. I mean, there's a great study, Institute of Labor Economics. The study's called the Economics of Hypergamy, and this was even looking at, like, since the 1800s to 2022, over 33 million marriages. Women typically marry men that are of the same status, and they're looking at all these countries.
Well, they kind of have to. I mean,
most people may
since the 1880s, but that's the thing. That's because that's what we had. right? So if you lived in Des Moines, Iowa in 1910, then the only
The
people you're
sexual
going
marketplace was
your
completely
sexual marketplace
different.
is only going to be
Yes.
the people in Des Moines, Iowa in 1910 who are about the same socioeconomic class as you
so
are.
hypergamy is only recent, but you're saying it's like
No. What I'm saying is hypergamy. Like your ability to get to Drake has only been since Instagram came around.
So
You understand what I'm saying?
so women in all these since the 1800s, they wanted those better men, but they
Yes.
just couldn't get them
That is
always.
absolutely-
there
they
was
didn't have access to them. They're just like we didn't have access to pornography. They didn't have access to celebrities.
Well, I think everyone wants, if they have access to something better than them, even men or women, they're gonna want it. Like
For
I
sure.
don't think, but
That's
in
comparison.
general,
That's not hypergamy.
people tend to mate across IQ, across socioeconomic status, and people
Because
tended
that
to
was
marry
that
even
was
across
the
all these.
environment in which hypergamy was allowed to be expressed. So if you go and you look at things prior to the sexual revolution, we had the church, we had like just like family stigmas again. Like I'll give you a quick for instance. Single mothers prior to the sexual revolution was a cultural social stigma. It was a shame. They had to put that woman away so she could have the baby and give it to the grandparents or whatever else. Today, that woman is treated as a superhero.
Yeah.
She can now do. That's the difference, by the way, in just the last 60 years, which is a blink of an eye in human evolution right now. So what I'm saying is this: is that we used to have buffers and checks and balances against men's sexual nature, which is unlimited access to unlimited sexuality, and we also had buffers against the worst parts of hypergamy, okay? Meaning we had the church, we had social stigmas, we had family, we had mores that were buffers against those. Now those things are gone with the advent of hormonal birth control and the sexual revolution that was the result.
So
Real quick,
you're
I wanna
saying,
add to
can
this
I?
real
can-
fast.
It was
And I'll
always
give you a chance here in a
there. It just
second.
was the expression
So-
of it
And to
allowed
personify this-
exist in the context has only been within the last like
So
65
you're
years.
saying that hypergamy was always just what they wanted, even though mating practices have not
Yes,
mirrored
because
this. And then
we have
even
one invention
and then
that
even-
allows us to see the
But then
results
even
of it.
now-
I think the confusion, because I've had this
No,
discussion
I
before.
mean-
I think the confusion may be hypergamy is just money. You want a man who's taller than you, and if you have to stratify amongst several men, the man who may be taller than the rest of them, you have to choose between several men who are 5'6" and one who's 6'3". You're more attracted to the guy who's 6'3".
and men are more attracted to the woman.
Correct.
who's beautiful.
That's
not
hypoandry. Then that's what that'd be called. That's not the issue. My point is the idea that hypergamy didn't exist before. It still existed before. Whenever I hear this argument, it's like, well, because people of the same socioeconomic group married each other, therefore no hypergamy. No, the hypergamy is everything. Hypergamy is he is stronger than the other man. It's not the best man you can get. It's the best man you can't get.
Yeah, but you guys. So what I'm saying is, you guys are saying this is what women want, but the practices that have actually been, women marry men that are taller than them. So that physical part, maybe. Although I wouldn't say they're more attractive.
They want to
The
marry.
tallest,
what I'm
yes,
saying-
and the
what I'm saying
man
is-
wants the most beautiful woman. True.
yeah.
So what I'm saying is, you're saying hypergamy was just what women wanted, even though it hasn't been reflected in mating practices, and even now, almost half of women are making as much or more or almost the same as the men. So when exactly was hypergamy just exploding? And other than on dating apps where people are just swiping, when is it actually? What real world evidence do you have of hypergamy actually determining mate selection? Because it doesn't seem to be there.
No, the Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge is part of
But
it.
that's
pretty
not
much it,
reflected in the
yes.
real world. Like that's
How
what
is that not
people-
reflected in the
so
real world?
You're
What are you
so okay. Maybe it's proving the point that this